Remarkable! Incredible! Unbelievable!
Save! And Stock are champions! Stood up, Pepe!
Goal! It doesn't get any better than that! Two clubs, both alike in points in fair Brooklyn, where we lay our scene. Welcome to McCarran Park, everyone. I'm Sam Lopresti for Game and Frame, and we are very happy that you've decided to start your morning with us for the biggest game in the Cosmopolitan Soccer League this season. Polonia SC and New York International tied at 45 points apiece in first and second place. With only 3 matches to go, the winner of this game, a prohibitive favorite to win the regular season title and the promotion slot to the APSL. Polonia technically ahead right now on head-to-head record. They beat International 3-1 at the end of September, but these two teams have only lost 2 games apiece. Polonia hasn't lost since October, and the same thing, in fact, for International. Last time they lost was to Hoboken FC in the end of October. That was also a first versus second. The table has changed a lot since then. These two teams now the two that will be fighting it out. It promises to be an intense matchup here today. We thank you very much for joining us, and we will have all the action for you here from Brooklyn right after this.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards, so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer, and it helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
Today's Game and Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The air case uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for odor-free car rides and houses. Salt is offering the Game and Frame community an exclusive discount. Scan the QR code to get 10% off and keep it fresh. Back here at McCarran Park. Last minute preparations for these two squads There has been so much change at the top of the table as this season has gone on. Hoboken FC, you remember, won their first 8 games of the year. Sanzak were up towards the top, Central Park Rangers as well. But it's these two that have been the class of the league. New York International looking for yet another successive promotion. After winning D2 last year. For Polonia, winning the title would be the ultimate redemption after they lost out on a spot in the playoffs in the final game last year here on this field when they allowed a late equalizer to New York Ukrainians that put Ukrainians through in the fourth spot rather. They have been on a mission this year. Both of these teams were in action midweek. Polonia, a makeup game against Borgetto. They won that 3-1. New York International defended their Kilby Cup title in midweek and won that for the second consecutive year. They beat Hoboken 2-0. We do have starting lineups for both sides. For Polonia, Carter Dutton-Neves is the goalkeeper. In defense, David Pepper, Sam Resnick, Lucas Bielin, Philip Glovala, Konrad Nowiczewski, Hazel Kugler, and Antoine Laurent are in midfield, and Churan Kamara, Nate Merchant, and Jacob Madej are the forwards. For International, another 4-3-3. Ryan Corrigan in goal. In defense, Sam Kraft, Aaron Ford, Hugo Howard, and Alejandro Saul. Eric Anderson, Hakan Miguel, and Jordan Trott in midfield. Lucas Paredes and Alex Teodorescu flanking the striker Josh Adejakun. It took a little bit of time for International to get revved up this year. Last year they were one of the offensive juggernauts of the CSL. Not quite so much this year, but still with 53 goals scored up at the top of Division 1 in that category. .68 degrees with the sun peeking through the clouds. The rain has blessedly held off so far. And International looks set to get us started. For first place. Off we go. Polonia in white. New York International in black. Hugo Howard. And that was Lucas Paredes, who an errant touch there, but now he's going to have a chance to chase this one. It is out of play. It's going to be Polonia's ball. Polonia will be a tough defensive nut to crack. They've only allowed 12 goals all year. That one moved up for Teodorescu, who can't keep it in. This is a scenario where you would think that the two teams would start out a little cagey, but these two teams don't necessarily do cagey, especially not International. Triggered back in. That throw looking for Teodorescu. Lucas Bielin across to tap it out. Good ball, good job coming back by Nate Merchant. But International regaining quickly. Howard. Moving up. Paredes. To Aaron Ford, the captain. Kraft. Michel, one of the top scorers on this team. Second on the team with 8 goals out of midfield. Teodorescu, who is chasing now, is their leader with 9. Teodorescu into the box, and that's off the bar! And now punched away by Dutton Neves. International wanted a penalty for that. He went over Paredes' back. He got the ball. And the first real threat comes from International. Merchant can't get out. It's going to be a throw, but an early shot across the bow for International. It's a good ball forward by Teodorescu, who centered it. Paredes was unable to put that in and could not get his own rebound. Triggered in by David Pepper. Still Pepper now. And that's a little bit wayward, looking for Merchant. Saul to trigger it back in. Pepper beats Paredes to it. Now, International might be able to break with this. Teodorescu had to slow it up a little. Up the middle. Good play there by Howard. Was looking for Choran Kamara. Adejakun battled away from it by Bielin, and that ball got over the line. It's going to be an International throw. Anderson. Howard. Here's Alejandro Saul. Relatively new addition to the team, Saul. Slick move there by Saul to put that into the foot of Eric Anderson. Anderson lofts that one towards Paredes at the byline. Didn't get good contact with it. It's going to be a throw-in up near the flag. So far, the flow of the game decidedly towards Polonia's goal. Adejakun couldn't bring that throw-in down. Last year, Adejakun, one of 2 international players that went absolutely crazy goal scoring. The other one, Melvin Pierre-Louis, has since moved on. Pierre-Louis was second in the entirety of CSL, all 4 divisions in goals. Adejakun wasn't far behind. He has not been as prolific this year. He's scored 4 times, but he is still a very important pivot piece in that front for New York International. Polonia with some time on the ball now. Into the middle, Merchant. And a long shot, well offline. That was Antoine Lorient. Ball back in play. That's just cleared away. Sam Resnick coming across. And we'll have to wait for a second as both of those balls we've just used got knocked a little bit too far. Now we're finally ready to put it back in. Saul is looking for Adejakun there. Too many in front of him. Adejakun brings it down. Paredes poked out of play by Pepper. International again moving downfield. Here's Lorient. Kugler. This one up forward to Kamara, but he's run out by Sam Kraft. Polonia so far having to rely on striking quickly from the back. This is the way International like to play, though. Dictating the pace. Holding the ball. That's why they tend to do better on the wider pitches in the league. Adejakun. This field here at McCarran Park is one of those. Laurel Hill Park in Secaucus, where Hoboken play, are by far the widest that you'll see in the CSL. Polonia moving forward, though. Kraft jumps in front of that. Paredes. Saul. Into the center. Adejakun moves it for Paredes. Into the channel. Paredes cuts inside. Paredes shot, and it's blocked. Saul, though, gets Bielan's clearance and puts it back in, and Paredes' header is smothered by Dutton Neves. But another close call for Polonia there. I think Dutton Neves probably had that initial shot covered even if Bielan hadn't gotten in front of it. But a little bit of a worrying sign for Polonia that International have been able to penetrate into the box the way they've been doing so far these first 10 minutes or so. Kugler. Kamara. Glovala. Now Kugler again. Polonia trying to work their way down this left side. Now they're going to try to switch it, and it's off target looking for Jacob Madej. It'll be Corrigan to bring that in. Corrigan today playing, usually you would see Gary Philpott there. Not available today, so Corrigan gets the nod. Saul couldn't get that ball around, but a good play. Kugler now. There's the press from International. How they like to play. Resnick. Novoyeski. Pepper. Back into the middle. Lorient met by Ford. Merchant still with the ball. Kugler. Now Pepper. Kugler again. He's going to stride forward. Looking for the return. Hit out to Madej. Centered. Saul pops that into the air. Headed out by Anderson. Resnick puts it back in. And that's a great shot and a goal! Totally against the run of play. Polonia strike first. A beautiful ball by Resnick. I believe that was Glovala who put in that last touch. Get confirmation on that for you. Great ball by Resnick into the channel, and Corrigan committed to it, but couldn't get to it, and as long as the finish was on target, it was always going in. And very much against the run of play, like we said before, Polonia are on top in this first place showdown. Lots of game to go though. International gonna move the ball up again. Anderson. Miguel. Trying to flip that out toward Kraft. Polonia can run with this. Kamara holds it up. Here's Pepper. Novoyeski. Glovala. No, sorry, not Glovala. That was Lorient. He loses it. Kraft. Adejakun. Moving through, and he gets tripped up. And a ball blasted back in the direction of International by Novowiecki, who and International have put pretty much everybody into the box. Floated up. That's going to be headed behind for a corner. New York International now chasing this match. A little more than a quarter of an hour in. Sent into the middle. Kraft keeping it in. Centered. Flicked header away, but Paredes is on it on the far side. It's a good ball in. Saul! And the header is over by Adeshakun. International continuing to remind Polonia that they can threaten their goal. That's the third really good scoring opportunity they've had. Polonia have to be aware of just how explosive this team can be. Novowiecki puts that one forward, looking for Kugler. Howard is with him. Pair of 22s. Ford flicks that out. Miguel catches Novowiecki. Polonia now with a chance to maybe float the ball in. Lorient will do just that. Corrigan this time with an easy claim. Rolls it out quickly to Kraft. Adeshakun fouled again. It's the second time that he's gone down hard and is making that point to the referee. Howard. And Paredes stepped on the ball there. Polonia with a short field. Pepper. And Novowiecki's not going to beat Corrigan to the ball. Kraft. Now to Anderson. Miguel. Miguel. There's Jordan Trott. He has not had much of a touch in this game, and that one went wayward. Merchant still with it. Merchant across the goal, and he just puts it wide of the far post. That was the kind of turnover that at this point in the game, New York International can't really afford. They do not want to have to come down from multiple goals back. Miguel, Paredes, looking for something in the middle, And that is over the line. Teodorescu trying to save it, couldn't. Quickly brought in short by Dutton Neves. Novowiecki. He's the deepest man at the moment. Kraft repelling that pass. Kugler couldn't get to it. Trott does. Adejakun retains. Kraft. Adejakun. Nice ball there. Left off by Anderson. Michel wide. It's by my count, I think, maybe 6 shots now from New York International. One of them saved, one of them blocked right in front of goal, one of them off the bar. They are showing their potency in terms of creating chances. Now they've just got to be more clinical about it. And not make the kind of mistakes that Trott just made a few moments ago. Michel. Kraft. Move back for Ford. Howard now going to advance it. That one past Paredes. Merchant. Tagged by Paredes. This has been as advertised in terms of intensity so far. Novowiecki, long, easy catch. Corrigan has made up for it after that mistake made on the goal so far. Ford. Now Howard. Anderson. Paredes. International. Moving the ball up the field again. Adejakun, a little bit deep. Teodorescu. Teodorescu from an angle just over. Another one. That misses by a fraction. That might have gone through the... That either went through or just above the gap that was between the crossbar and the football, the gridiron football crossbar. And on the top of that goal there. Here is Resnick. Pepper with Paredes bearing down on him. Flicked back. Merchant. Lorient. Into the center. Now it's Trott who gets the turnover there, and the flag is up on Adejakun. Quick restart. Kugler. Merchant, Madej on the right side, centers. Howard repels that cross. Back in from Pepper. Here's Trot. Teodorescu. Flicked out by Beelan. But International still on the move. Again, Anderson here. Teodorescu fighting with Glovala there. Into the middle, Kugler just stabs it away. New York International continuing to push close to that Polonia box. That is a goal kick. Does become a question of how long Polonia can hold out against that kind of pressure without giving up this lead. Madej. Kamara. Novowiecki. That's intercepted by Saul. A little bit too close to Resnick there. That ball coming right at our camera position. There's Saul looking for Paredes. That is struck well out of bounds by Pepper. Ball back in play. This is Merchant. Kugler turns that over. Trot. Little contact there as he tried to release that pass. Referee considering it legal. Glovala almost jumped there in the back. Beelan. Now Resnick. There is, looks like our first change in the game about to happen. Polonia has a man at the center line. Where the subs are unlimited at this level with re-entry as well. And the change being made, it's Philip Glovala who has come off. Number 21, Nicholas Kovalenko, replacing him. Here's Ford. Needs to back it up. Moving it upfield, Resnick. Saul watches it head out. Change. Another change for Polonia. This looks like Novowiecki who is coming off. So Polonia deciding to keep their players fresh. Paredes doesn't play that particularly well. Neither does Saul there with the attempts at those close-in headers. But here's Miguel. And this is coming back for a free kick. Miguel. Now Anderson. Looking for Teodorescu. A little bit errant there. Resnick. Now Pepper. Downfield, Merchant. Kamara. Dispossessed by Saul, who sends Paredes down the field. Waiting for some targets to get there. Now into the middle. And Beelan very nearly put that into his own net. He ended up missing it. But the referee saying that that last came off of a Dejakun. Philip Liu, number 16, the replacement for Novovieski on that last substitution. Nothing yet for International. We do have some firepower on that bench. And a foul there called against Kraft for a push as the ball was heading down. Third minute here. It is 1-0 to Polonia. In this title showdown in Division 1 of the Cosmopolitan Soccer League. Only 2 games left after this one. Polonia definitely have the run-in on each of them with a relatively equal run-in. Teodorescu managing to poke it out, trying to get it to a Dejakun, but it didn't have enough steam. Lorient. Michel. Made. Looking for Merchant. Cuts across Howard to get it. But Lorient. Touch lets him down. A Dejakun. Brings that down. He was looking for Teodorescu, but he'd already taken off on his run. It's been a bit now since International have threatened Carter Dutton Neves in goal. First 20 minutes or so of this game, they were pushing forward and creating a lot of shots, but that spring has dried up for the time being. Made looking for Kamara in the middle, but Saul is there. Paredes. That one goes right off of Kugler. Trott keeps it in. Kraft moving forward. Anderson. Teodorescu. Looking to try to turn, and now we've got some... And a red card coming out for Teodorescu. A straight red, and International's day just got a lot harder. Like a scuffle there between Lucas Beelan and Teodorescu. And New York International are going to have to play the rest of this game a man down. Aaron Ford, the international captain, is not impressed with the explanation being given to the referee there. From the referee, rather, but International, not only are they going to have to go a man down, they're going to have to go without their leading scorer. For the better part of 55 minutes. A big moment in this match. Hard to tell just how Teodorescu lashed out at him, but clearly did in the eyes of the referee. He was very quick to pull that red card out. There was no consultation with the assistant. He moved quickly and did it. Madej, Lorient. Philip Liu now into the center, poked away by Kraft. Kugler. You have to think now a man light. The momentum in this game is David Pepper tries a tame one. It's only the second shot on target we've seen from Polonia today. Really does show you where the flow of the game has gone. But if International are going to do this, they're going to have to do it with 10 men, and they're going to have to do it from behind. Coming up at halftime, you'll get to see our Goals of the Month nominees for April. You can vote for your favorite on the Game and Frame Instagram page until 11:59 tonight. Paredes. And that's Adejakun firing it wide. You have to start wondering whether or not these are going to be more and more precious in terms of shot attempts. International already being a bit profligate with the opportunities they were creating when it was even. Liu. Back to Kugler. Lorient. That goes down the field. Kamara. And Kraft able to poke it away. Howard. Kraft. Adejakun, who has moved out wide. Looks like right now they're playing a 4-2-3. Looks like they've pushed Trott up into the striker position and moved Adejakun out wide where Teodorescu was on the right. Anderson. Paredes. Thought he had a man there. Kugler heads that back along. Kamara stepped on the ball. Liu able to keep it in. Sliding challenge from Kraft. The assistant on the far side looked like he had thrown his flag up. The referee overruled him and said, play on. Lorient looking for Merchant. Kraft slowing him down. Across to Pepper. Headed away by Ford. Lou. Out wide to the right again. Saul. Only as far as Lorient. And now the referee being queried about something by Hugo Howard. Kovalenko to trigger it back in. And a foul there. Kraft, the guilty party. And if you're international right now, I think what you want to do is get into halftime, regroup, and come up with the ideas that you are going to use in the second half. Lorient floats that in. Headed down by Merchant, but right at Corrigan. It's probably going to go down as a shot, but it's Paredes who runs himself out of that. Pepper. Poked away by Howard. Trot trying to come back for it. Lorient looking for Madej. A little bit too wide for a shot. Needs some targets here. That's a shot by Merchant. He didn't catch it cleanly. Kraft. Adejakun mishandles. Polonia will keep it in. There is Corrigan again. Anderson. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Here, added on to the end of this first half. Kraft. Can International find a gap? It's a good ball by Saul. Pepper takes that out. It's going to be a throw in, fairly advanced here. Saul drops that down for Trot. Poked away. Here's Merchant. That is downfield for Kamara. He keeps it in. He gets by Kraft. Kamara. Lorient. Blocked. Kamara putting Kraft on his rear end on that play. Here's Kugler. Across the field for Pepper. Pepper mishandles it. Paredes. Right at the last second, Paredes with an opportunity here. Had to hold up, though. See if International can build it back. Lots of room right now for Paredes. Adejakun. That was flipped out by Polonia. Saul was giving chase. Sam Kraft, let's see if he just fires this into the box. Oh, that looked like it came off a hand. Referee says no. Couple of shots being blocked in the scrum there. That's forward. Anderson keeps it in. International have some beef here towards the end of the first half, I think. Paredes looking for a return ball by Miguel. And that is going to be the half. An eventful first half indeed. The early goal by Polonia. The red card for Alex Teodorescu. And right at the end there, Polonia perhaps very lucky not to be called for a handball in the box. In this title showdown in the CSL, it is 1-0 Polonia leading New York International. We're halfway home here at McCarran Park. 45 more minutes of fantastic action promised. 1-0 is your score at half. And now, here are our April Goal of the Month nominees.
Zero gets half a yard, catches it beautifully, and opens the scoring with a rip-roaring strike. It's signature Junior Rosero.
Espinoza gets around and he puts it in! And it's 3-2. Richmond regain the lead.
Trouble for Real Central. Shot from distance, looking to beat the keeper. And how about that for a finish to start this game? From about 35 yards out, AC Trilogy stunned John Bowen in net.
Good touch. There's space on the left wing, carrying into the box, taking on one man, taking on a second, looking for a shot, and a beautiful goal! What a strike! East Coast are right back into this one. It's 2-1.
Neto leaves it. Oliveira, 2-1, perfectly placed. Good enough pace to beat Valencia, but also the placement as well. Just inside the far post. And Oliveira.
Willie goes long, trying to find Reynoso. Reynoso gets a touch over the keeper. Reynoso, open goal. And he finishes to make it 2-0. A beautiful touch by David Reynoso over the keeper. And he slots it home.
Mohu. Tug at the shirt. He's had a hit. What a strike! From Mohu, top left corner.
Smith lets it run. Now gonna bring it forward. Smith gets through two. Smith into the middle. He scores! Quentin Smith puts it in at the far post. And Brooklyn have doubled their lead.
Fascioli in a little more space. And he's looking for Richmond. He's played a nice ball over the top. He's gotten it under control. A little clip over the top. What a goal from the Philadelphia skipper.
Back the pitch, it goes to Moya. Looks like a cross is getting set to be put into the box by Aarons, who takes a shot instead, and he scores! Kirill Aarons makes it 3 for the Empire.
Along the left wing, one step over, two step over, cutting it inward, playing it back to Ricardo. Vera Sanchez! Goal!
Ricardo Mena Sanchez makes it 3-1.
And over the top, goalkeeper a long way off his line, LaFlash. His pass is loose, however, he's a long way off his goal. The goal is gaping and the goal is bypassed. Finally for New York International, they break free. Elation, Alex Teodorescu has opened the scoring.
Welcome back to Laurel Hill Park. It is halftime. It's 1-0 Polonia over New York International. Sam Lopresti here. Noah Zimmerman, our own from Game and Frame, and also of the Queen's Ledger, who you wrote a feature on this match and on the CSL for this week as this game approached. Why did you want to highlight this game and the league as an entity in the community, really?
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's great to be here. Some of you might recognize me from other matches that I've broadcasted, but it's so good to be out here. But the real reason that I'm standing here on the sideline is because this is just a remarkable title race, and it has been for the entire season. And for that reason, I felt like it's really important to just highlight how competitive these local leagues can be. I've been involved with the CSL for a number of years now, a bunch of local leagues with my team, a couple other teams. I've been taking photos, and it's just remarkable to see how much media has really come together for the first time that I've seen around the CSL. I was here last week for a thrilling match, and there were just 4 photographers, 3 cameramen, just everyone swarming here on the sideline. It was a beautiful sight, and it really shows that local soccer is alive and well here in New York, and it's important to make sure that people are aware of it and that they're tuning in, that they're getting their eyes on it, because it's truly a remarkable sight here.
So what are your thoughts on what we've seen over these first 45 minutes now, that especially the game changing a lot with that red card?
I mean, honestly, I think we got what we would expect from these two sides. They're both very hungry for points. They're level right now, Polonia obviously with the narrow edge. And I think we knew that International was really going to come out swinging, trying to get on that front foot. You see how many forwards they have, all immense goal threats. They're so good at just driving upfield. But Polonia, when they get the ball, they just move down quick. They're so fast downfield, and they get shots on net. So I don't think it's that shocking that they got that opening goal. I think International, even with that red card, you can't count them out. They will be fighting the full 45 that's coming up, even though they're coming off of 2 cup finals this week, both the reserves and first team. They're not going to go away, even playing down a goal and down a man.
Really quick, prediction for the end. What do you think?
I honestly think it's going to come down to a draw, 2-2, and we're going to see this title race play out to the last 2 games.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks very much. We'll be right back with our second half right after this. Thanks very much.
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University, and I play forward. The salt air case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house, so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards, so I know that they're together, and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer, and it helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
Welcome back to McCarran Park. There's still discussion going on the sideline over that red card to Alex Teodorescu. What happened there? If your eyes were already heading towards the ball, Teodorescu had thought he had been fouled, and he placed both his hands on the assistant referee to try to model what he thought had happened to him, which is a no-no. You can't touch the referee like that. So that's why the card came out. It wasn't an issue with a Polonia player. It was the referee that he touched. And that is why International are down a man. Polonia lead 1-0 on the 13th minute goal by Filip Glovala. Off we go again. 45 minutes to potentially settle this title race. And like Noah said just a few seconds ago at halftime, as a foul pulls action back a little bit. Even down a man, International are by no means out of this game. They are an explosive side. They do have some changes out there. Number 15, Romario Pigott, is in the game. And that's a foul by Merchant against Ford, who looks like he took a shot to the head there. Number 28, Jonah Mejia, is also in the game for International. It's Trott and Miguel, who I believe have come off. Remember, you can re-enter in this level, so that's not the end of their day. At least not officially, but something of a tactical change. There's both Pigott and Mejia are physically big guys. They might be trying to make up for their lack of the 11th man with a little more muscle on the field. Anderson there, Barretas there looking at the referee, but Pigott now. Pigott moving, Adejakun in the box, blocked. Kovalenko with the block, Adejakun, and that's a free kick right on the edge. Kovalenko had locked his arm with Adejakun's just outside the box. And a set piece like this for a team that's down a man is a huge opportunity. And like I said, there's a little bit more physical oomph on the field now for International. Referee that's lined, and that is just stopped by Dutton Neves. Paredes went for the surprise shot, and that almost went through the wickets of Carter Dutton Neves. He stopped it at the very last moment. Matthew Saluga, who is new on the field for Polonia, just held up. Lou into the box. Ford flicks that out. Kugler. And another coming together there. This time it was Mejia. It's going to be a foul against Kugler. And to Noah's point at halftime, there is a large element of spectators in this, looking at this game. You can see the bleachers out there on the far side of the field are full. And there's also a lot of attention being paid on some park benches behind us as well. A couple of other people standing closer to the sideline. This league has garnered attention, and rightfully so. Upfield, Adejakun. That is Saul who gets the... It is. And now you can really see the intensity on this field. No one there for Paredes to pass to. Lorient. Merchant. Moves it back to Beelan. Beelan trying to go long, but he skews that. It's going to be a throw-in for New York International. That is poked out by Lorient. Just moving upfield. Mejia. Mejia into the middle. Mejia. Looking for a shot there, but well off target. Today's Game and Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The Aircase uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for odor-free car rides and houses. Salt is offering the Game and Frame community an exclusive discount, so scan the QR code to get 10% off and keep it fresh. Brought in short by Carter Dutton-Neves. Beelan. Long. Headed forward by Lou. Ford. Didn't really get purchase on that header. Here's Lorient. Saluga. Downfield. Kovalenko giving chase. Corrigan is well off his line and is lucky that Kovalenko mishandled that ball. That's the second time today that we've seen Corrigan really overcommit to a ball out wide. The first one was the goal that Glovala scored off that assist by Sam Resnick. Adeja Kuhn floats that over the head of Piggott. Merchant. Madej. Now Lorient. Given the situation, a 2-0 lead for Polonia might be insurmountable. That's Kugler. The man draped all over him, but it's fair. Lorient loses out to Saul. Resnick puts it back in. Headed back. Piggott. Piggott turning. Piggott has some space. Paredes trying to return it to him. It's cleared back, but it's going to be a throw. And you have to say that even with 10 men, International have at the very least held the flow of this game relatively even. Anderson. Eric Anderson. Gonna back it all the way out to Howard. Now Ford. Adeja Kuhn. Adeja Kuhn has it poked away by Kovalenko, but it's gonna stay here. Mejia. Into the center. Anderson. Fair challenge. Lorient gonna move it out. This is where that extra man might tell, but Philip Lou didn't know what Lorient was planning there. If he had gone on that run, that might have caused some real problems. Ford. Anderson. Mejia. Now Howard, he's going to push forward. football almost popped up onto Lou's arm. No call, but Kraft gets it back. Ford trying to go forward with it. Run by Kraft was covered well. Bielin. Kugler. Adeja Kuhn gets it off Kovalenko. Another throw in. Ten minutes into this half. Adeja Kuhn into the center. Kugler intercepts. Lou. Herded by Ford. Forces Polonia to move quickly with it and that is going to be offside. Saluga. Here's Mejia. Piggott was trying to find Anderson with that. Just a step too far. Kugler. Polonia can afford to take the air out of the ball. Leave it on the deck. Know that the hole might well develop with the extra man. That one will go out of play. All of the players on Polonia's bench right now are warming themselves up. Both teams, you expect, it's going to be all hands on deck. And there is a change here. Nowowiecki is back on the field for Lou. Aaron Ford. Now Howard. Trying to put the ball, find a spot to put the ball into. Kraft. Here's Saul looking for Paredes. It was a little too far in front of him, but Resnick could only whack it out of play. More change. Adeja Kuhn stepping away. I believe this is going to be Suleiman Jallo. It is. Paredes trying to head that down to himself. Grabbed by Dutton Neves. Upfield now. It's going to be Internationals ball. Mejia. Howard. Back now to Corrigan. Kovalenko. Back to Bielin. Jallo. His first involvement. Pressing Bielin there. It's going to end up being a throw-in. Pepper moving it upfield. Merchant has been operating up there as kind of a false nine. Throw in for International. Paredes back to Ford. Jallo. Tackled by Novoviesky. Jallo trying to move. Gets it taken away by Kugler. All the way back to Beelan. Kovalenko across the field to Pepper. Merchant can't keep it in. The run-in for these two teams, interesting in that they are both somewhat similar. Both teams still have to play Central Park Rangers. It's next week for International, and on the final day of the year for Polonia. CPR are going to be playing for something. They've let Hoboken back into the playoff race here late. The gap between those two teams, only 3 right now. So they are definitely going to have something to play for, and will have a say in the title race as well as they try to preserve their own position. Polonia's next match is against New York Ukrainians. Meanwhile, Piggott puts that one, and a flag up against Paredes, and I don't think that was correct. And another card! A straight red for dissent from from Paredes. And International are down to 9 men. I have to think that International have been hard done by there. I don't think that offside call was correct. And then Paredes, in showing his displeasure for it, getting a straight red card, the second of the match for New York International. And International in their zeal when it comes to this game seem like they have lost their cool a little bit. However, like I said, as much as Paredes, obviously we don't know what exactly was said down on the far side of the field, but the fact that Paredes even had to say it, given the fact that I really do not think he was offside. The International bench being given an explanation. This game has had some twists and turns, but maybe as we approach 25 minutes remaining in the game, this moment might have been almost as decisive as Glovava's goal. Paredes off. That is 2 of their 3 top scorers off the field. Teodorescu had 9, Paredes had 7, and he was their assist leader with 8. And New York International down 2 men. Those have been the only 2 cards of the game. No one has been shown a yellow yet today. And now International have to drop back and try to make any sort of attack on the counter. Novoviesky. Lorient leads Pepper in. Corrigan holds that, sends it to Jallo. Jallo running alongside Kovalenko. Into the middle, Anderson. Mejia. What other moves do New York International have on their sideline? They seem to have an idea with Piggott and Mejia coming onto the field at halftime. This is Saul into the middle, but no one was there for it. And just like that, the clouds have started to come out as well. Hopefully the rain holds for the next 20 or 30 minutes so that we can get this game in without anything unpleasant. This is Resnick. It was his assist. A little bit of a miscommunication there. And a change coming. Howard is out. It's Oscar Champinuel. Knocked out by Resnick. Time. Very much the enemy of New York International now, as are, I should say, numbers. Mejia, that is a handball against Novoviesky. Champinuel, too much for Mejia. (1-0). The fact that it is still 1-0, perhaps a credit for New York International. Have to think that it might not stay that way for very much longer. That one a little bit beyond David Pepper. Changes. Might be in the offing. Corrigan simply swept out of play. And that's a shot and a goal! It's Saluga! And that has to be it! Oscar Champinuel just come on the field. Let that run too much. David Pepper has stepped away. Matthew Saluga, his first goal of the season. And that, with 20 minutes left and 2 extra men on the field, you have to think is that. International are explosive, but there are some things that are a little too much for any club to overcome, and this might be one of them. If you want to have a little bit more action today, we've got 3 more matches for you. In the APSL Metropolitan Conference, Central Park Rangers against Zum Schneider. That's at 2:30. Foul there by Jallo. At 8 o'clock, 2 games at 8 o'clock. In the CSL D1, it is FC Sanzak against CPR2. And in the APSL, Richmond County against New York Penn Cyprian. And the narrative in this match seems to be who has managed to contain their emotions better. And the answer to that question very definitively is Polonia. Kovalenko, back to Bielin. Saluga. So much room now for Polonia to operate. You just want to keep this in the middle of the field. Bielin. So many moments that International had, even after the first red card, that could have changed this game. It's Kamara back on the field. Passes a little too much. Mejia fouled by Lorient. Very early on in the match, Josh Adejakun hitting the bar. Early on in this second half, Paredes with that surprise attempt on goal at the free kick that very nearly went through the 5-hole of Carter Dutton-Neves. That would have tied the game at 1 at that point if that ball had gotten past him. Imagine what that could have done. Instead, 2 red cards caused mainly by overreactions. Lorient now. Into the box. Then that one right across the mouth of goal, and Kamara couldn't get his hand to it. Foot. It was Corrigan who also was going for that, couldn't get a hand to it. More changes for Polonia. It is Lorient stepping away. The incident between Teodorescu and the referee's assistant The reaction by Paredes on that offside call, producing that pair of reds. Fair tackle, says the referee. Aaron Ford was having some words with the referee there on that last no call. And I believe it was Jordan Trott on the international sideline who was yelling at him to calm down, not wanting another one. Beelan. Kraft heads that away. Saul Mejia looking to try to move the ball, but Novovieski, Saluga. Novovieski rolls it into the middle. Here's Merchant, and I think that was saved by Corrigan, but this time it won't. Flag up. That was Saluga again. Jallo. Resnick had a little bit more time, I think, than he realized there. Xander Goldman is on the field as well for Polonia now. Anderson. Mejia. Can the 9 men of New York International try to come up with a miracle? Ford. Jallo. Bad touch, but he gets it back. And that pass looking for Anderson. Here is Kamara. He's onside. Kraft trying to catch up. Kamara cuts in, doesn't have the lane. And Goldman, a little unselfish there. Perhaps a little too unselfish. Here's Saul. Higgett. Leaves that forward for Anderson, but Resnick and Dutton Neves both right there. Beelan. Novovieski. Through the middle, too much for Choran Kamara. Anderson takes that down. Couldn't get around Merchant, but Jallo recovers. Jallo. Champanuel. And a foul there as Mejia tries to force his way through. Mejia, too much for Jallo. change, another one for Polonia. That is Saluga stepping away. And who sealed it with that goal in the second half, Vincent Galea, is out for Polonia. There's a call up today from the reserve squad, as is Mejia for International. Corrigan trying to take that long, not necessarily accurate. Here's Goldman, Novowiecki, Kraft facing him up. Merchant, Novowiecki, shot! Now it's 3! Fourth of the year for Konrad Novowiecki. And it's well and truly done now. Polonia have kept their nerve.
Tell your referee, I don't think he did his job, okay? I don't know what he's doing.
9 minutes left to go.
It's not even a single yellow card. Every card is like red card.
Another change. Joshua Dejakun has come back on. Suleiman Jallo has come off. He was just having words with the assistant here on the near side again. Ryan Chuang also on the field in place of Kraft. And Aaron Ford stepping away as well. Mike Rowley is on the field up front. Here's Alejandro Saul. 3-0. He's fouled there by Goldman. Polonia, the scoreline doesn't necessarily say that it was a game that lived up to its circumstances, but the intensity on the field certainly did. But ultimately, that intensity became a little bit too much for New York International. And it boiled over into some real problems. 9 men on the field as Bielin intercepts that ball, looking for a Dejakun. Rowley commendably putting in the legwork there to press up top. It has been a day to forget for New York International. And remember, it is not over. 2-0, but 2 more games left to go. Here's Chuang. Oh, International were in a similar situation last year around this time. They lost a first versus second game against Hoboken. The two of them were both in Division II at the time. That had put Hoboken up 4 points with 3 games to play, but Hoboken couldn't hold their lead. Let International back in, and they snuck in, won the title, came up on the automatic promotion, forced Hoboken to make their way through the playoff. Adeja Kuhn trying to find Chang. Behind Kovalenko, but Dutton Neves very easily claiming the cross. I said it's CPR is next for International. Champanuel. Stopping Merchant. Goldman. Out to the far side. There's Galena with the hit. Corrigan protecting his near post. The CPR game next for International, obviously heavy with meaning for both teams now. Polonia's next opponent's New York Ukrainians, who, as we mentioned earlier, the team that knocked them out of the playoff race last year on the last day. Wouldn't that be satisfying if they were to seal promotion against them? Adeja Kuhn charging forward, he gets impeded. This is a yellow card for Beelan, I believe. That is amazingly the first yellow of this match, considering the fact that New York International are already down 2 men. This could be a direct free kick opportunity. Put in, and it goes in! 3-1. You have to think that's just a consolation at this point. Three and a half minutes remaining in this game. It was Dan Cohen who put that ball in. Couldn't tell if it took a touch on its way through. Beelan. Polonia pushing downfield again. Corrigan. It would be a true miracle if International were to somehow push this game even to a big finish, let alone climb all the way back. A foul there, though. That was Galea. Mejia. Beaten out by Merchant, who I don't think has come off all day. That is way over. 3 minutes of stoppage time have been indicated. Here is Novoviesky. His goal making up the final difference. Matthew Saluga's goal midway through the second half, now the decisive one. Cohen crashing in. We keep going. Out here to the left. Chuang puts a foot in and pushes his man out. Into stoppage time we go. Here's Merchant. Adeja Kuhn was the one that lost it. He's forced wide by Saul. It'll stay here. Kugler, another guy that has not left the field for Polonia. Gonna have to get used to that a little bit, playing longer shifts if they're gonna end up in the APSL next year, because there is no re-entry for substitutions at that level. Cohen gets that one off Goldman, but only as far as Bielin. Novovieski going for one long, and it's blocked. Kugler. Polonia looking for an extra cherry on top. Dropped back to Bielin. Adeja Kuhn jumps in front of Goldman there, but can't get away from it. Here is Eric Anderson. And Rowley with a push in the back of Hazel Kugler. About 20 seconds left until we can call this game won for Polonia. They have kept their cool. International couldn't. And that is it. Polonia with a 3-1 victory over 9-man New York International, and place themselves as prohibitive favorites to win the regular season title and gain promotion to the APSL. In a game where emotions were so high, Polonia were the ones that could keep control of them. Our final score from McCarran Park: Polonia 3, New York International 1. We'll be back with some of the players of this match in just a moment.
Now this could spell trouble for Real Central. Stuff from distance, looking to beat the keeper. And how about that for a finish to start this game?
Great feet. It's set up to Kugler on the top of the box, whose effort! An immaculate save by Nivkovic. Unbelievable reach.
Looks like a cross is getting set to be put into the box by Aarons, who takes a shot instead, and he scores!
That was good switch of play. CPR could be in. They are! It's the equalizer!
Buchel out in front, no one around him. Into the 18, his shot is deflected away.
pass there. Advantage called. Yusufi, that time he scores!
Ba, for his first time with a sighted goal, gets past two, takes a shot, and Nish does so well to meet the shot, tipping the ball over the bar.
Here is the set piece, however, by Jordan Trott. Wicked. And it's in! Alex Theodorescu.
Blocks that cross from Puig. Sharifi now fires! Another save by Kazun!
The ball is back into play. Beautiful work, Winder with the nutmeg.
Mateo. Mark. Mateo. Still Mateo. Oh, wonderful finish!
This kick. Into the box! Oh, what a save!
Goalkeeper a long way off his line, LaFlash. His pass is loose, however, he's a long way off his goal. The goal is gaping and the goal is bypassed.
Botti. There's a shot and Kazun beats it away again.
Is Gomez. Over to Charles. Back to Charles. Charles one-on-one with the keeper. Takes on Cisse. Now to find the finish is always needed. And he finds him back to the net.
And it'll be Naeem who takes a shot, pushed aside.
Here's Yingling. Yingling. Yingling shot and it's in! Tucks it right inside the post! Welcome back to McCarran Park. We've got the three goal scorers from Polonia here today, Filip Glowala, Matthew Saluga, and Konrad Nowofieski. I'm close enough. Konrad, I'm going to start with you. This game felt, what the defining moments of this game felt like when the emotions were running high. You guys were able to hold it and International wasn't. So to kind of describe how you guys just were able to keep that lid on the intensity and focus it onto the field rather than everything else.
Well, we know it's going to be a difficult game. It all came down to the final third and the composure in the final third. Those clinical passes just to finish the game off is kind of what it came down to. And so we definitely had the better opportunities and we put them away today.
Matt, first goal of the year, correct? And it's a big one. Yeah. You guys, was there a shift as the red cards started to pile up in mentality in the way that you guys were thinking about attacking, or did you guys just keep on going and attack the way that you did, even and knowing that those weaknesses and the numbers would end up telling?
Yeah, I think the important thing for us was to just stay cool in that moment because we could tell they were frustrated, they were rattled after the red card, so they came harder at us, but we didn't change a thing. We just kept playing our game, focus on sharp passes, switching the play, and continuing to find our forwards. So same game plan.
And Philip, your next game here against New York Ukrainians, now that you have the tiebreaker advantage over New York International, if you win that game, you are champions and you will be going to the APSL. Last year, the game against the end of the season game against New York Ukrainians had some very different emotions than what you guys are feeling right now. What would that mean to you both to respond to that disappointment by winning the title and going to the end and getting promotion, and also potentially being able to do it against Ukrainians again? What does that mean to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just justify what we've been working on all season. I feel like from the very first day when we were at training during the summer, we all had a sense that there was something special with this team, and it just felt like everyone was there just pushing each other, and you could see the depth of our team. I think even when we made subs, we kept playing better than them throughout the whole 90 minutes. So really excited for that game. I wasn't here last year on the team side. I know about that one, so I hope it'll end happy. It'll be nice to have a home field game against them, and we just have to go one game at a time. It's not over. The season's not over. We have plenty of high aspirations beyond just this league as well, so there's a lot that we have to do that we're juggling at the moment, and as long as we come out and we play the way we did today, I think we'll find success.
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen. Congratulations. Thank you all for starting your day with us and watching us here on Game in Frame. The final score one last time, Polonia 3 and New York International 1. I'm Sam Lopresti for Game in Frame, and we'll see you all at our next match.